Let's Say So by Masked Wolf, and I'm Bree, and this is Hits 105.5, and it's time for one of my favorite segments, Reptigirl Reptiles. Crystal, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good, and we have a little friend in the studio with us, and it is a hognose snake.
Yes, it is a western anaconda hognose snake.
Yes, it's very cute. It's just a little baby. It's a little baby. And very active, very pretty snake. The bottom of that snake's belly is so cool. And then the patterns on the top are just very interesting. And I love that he's very active with his tongue. He's like...
He is very active with his tongue. He looks almost like a little baby rattlesnake.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, he's trying to get at the mic, so that's very exciting. And so tell us a little bit about what'd you say, anaconda?
Western anaconda hognose.
A western anaconda hognose.
Yep, they're actually native to North America.
Oh.
And everything. They can be found in like the southern states, like down in Florida and Louisiana, Texas. They're real big in Texas and stuff. The really unique thing about these guys is they've got so many defense mechanisms. So one of their defense mechanisms is if they feel like they're being attacked, they'll play dead. They literally roll over on their backs and will open their mouth and stick their tongue out and literally play dead.
That's crazy.
It's so cool. And then a couple of their other defense mechanisms is like once they're a little bit bigger, they'll actually flatten out their necks like king cobras do.
Oh.
And they'll do like a little stance like a king cobra does to make whatever's attacking it think that it's a king cobra. They also do like mock strikes. So they'll hiss and they'll strike, but they won't open mouth strike.
Oh, that's good.
So you actually have a better chance of getting hit by lightning than to get bit by a hognose, to be honest.
Really?
Now, they are mildly venomous, but so they would be classified as venomous, non-venomous, basically. So they are rear-fanged snakes, meaning that they do not have hollowed out fangs or anything, so they can't inject you with venom, but it is carried in their saliva. But the worst you'll get out of it is maybe like a bacterial infection from the saliva or like a headache or an upset stomach. So nothing that you need to go really to the hospital for.
Well, that's good. Have you ever gotten bitten by a hognose?
I have not.
Well, that's good.
I've been bitten by my ball pythons. I've been bitten by my blood pythons. I've been bitten by corn snakes, but I've never been bit by a hognose.
That guy is just traveling all over you.
He is.
Does not want to stay still. He wants to venture and explore the world.
Yes.
And they're much more rough than other snakes,
yeah,
right?
they feel like a rattlesnake does too. So like the texture of them is real rough and rugged and stuff because they like to burrow. So they have like this little shovel looking thing on its snout. So their snouts are kind of pointed up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so they use that snout to dig into the ground and stuff. They mainly live in like sandy areas or like a gravel area, flood beds. They like to lay down in them. And most of the time they'll actually burrow in where like small mammals burrow, like so groundhogs and little gophers and stuff. They like to go down there.
What do they eat?
They eat small rodents like rats and mice and stuff like that, but they can also survive and thrive on worms and small amphibians like frogs and little tree frogs. They love tree frogs.
Tree frogs. Interesting. You were talking about that they don't eat during a certain period of time?
Yes, so they go into what's called a brumation, which is a semi-hibernation, kind of like bearded dragons, where the months from January to about mid-March, they will actually go off of eating. They will not eat anything. They don't necessarily sleep like a bearded dragon does, unless you make them go to sleep. But for the most part, they just stop eating. As long as they have water and everything, they're fine.
That's crazy.
He's venturing up my arm.
Yes, he is venturing up your arm. I'm posting a picture right now on our Facebook. So if you guys want to see our little visitor today, then you can see him. This guy came to visit the studio and is having a blast.
He is. And they're super docile too. So, like, if you're a first-time reptile owner and you're looking for some sort of snake that you want to get, I personally and professionally recommend either a ball python or a hognose, because they're just so easy to work with, and like I said, you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning than you do to get bit by a hognose.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. So you had a show this weekend.
We did. We actually set a attendance record for this show down in Piqua. We was at over, kids included, we was at over 1,300 people had attended this show.
That's awesome.
So Sydney, we need to get this one coming up in March. On March 9th, we need to get this attendance up over 1,300 people. See if we can beat the Piqua record.
Yeah. And that doesn't even count the people that just, like me, who forgot their wallet, and so all I had was my debit card, and was like, oh, hey, please let me in. And they weren't happy about it, so then I ran because I was scared of all the snakes. But then, people that went to see the Jen's Backs Tube, and I'm trying to think of the other guy.
Johnny Wontons,
who didn't make it in to the actual reptile event. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Yeah, they was a part of the main mall, but they were still in with us, so.
Yep, that's awesome. And I'm sure they'll be back to the other events as well.
Absolutely.
And so March 9th, that one's at Shelby County Fairgrounds?
Yep, that one's at the Shelby County Fairgrounds, and I'm hoping and praying that all of us here in Sydney can beat that attendance record in Piqua. We're still sponsored by Liquid Lounge and Morph Market, and we'll have a bunch of our familiar vendors there. Speaking of, I got my Bengals bag from the Familiar Fancy. So
that's awesome. Well, good. Well, I'm glad you came on the show again. I absolutely love learning more about reptiles. Every time you come in, we learn something new, and I love when you bring guests because they're super cute, especially this guy because he's just so teeny.
He is. He's just a baby.
And so, if you guys want to see more Reptigirl Reptiles, you can always check us out on our website under BS in the Afternoon, or you can go to one of the reptile shows, and the next one is going to be March 9th, coming up at the Shelby County Fairgrounds, and so that's very exciting. Thanks again, Crystal, for being on the show.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be back right after this on Hits 105.5.